So I'm looking at this, I'm trying to decide how I want to maximize and ultimately use as few faces and vertices as possible. So I think I'm going to start by utilizing these two as the wings. These will eventually come up there, but we need to make a loop cut now. So let's add that cut in right there, kind of right where that tip is gonna be. Yeah, right there seems pretty good. Double tap G, we can double tap G, we can slide that angle in there. Loop cut right here. Double tap G. Come on. That's interesting. Okay, well, we will just single tap G, bring that guy in. That's not gonna have worked out right, is it? Is it? Is that gonna have worked out right? That is not gonna have worked out right. So what's going on in my mind as I'm doing some of these edits on these vertices is I'm just trying to take what I think is the best step in the moment. Just because I've brought some vertices together, I'm going to select all M, and I'm gonna merge by distance. And down here in the info panel, I see that I did in fact clean up the mesh, and now I've got no overlapping vertices. Those are gonna have to come in to there. See, from the top it's looking all right. Looking like crap from every other angle, but it looks pretty good from the top. I'm gonna need another one right there, because that slopes up, and then that sharply, and then it slopes up slowly to the back, if I remember right. That's the other thing, is on hand, on Google Images, whatever you use for images, I just typed in the name of my model, and looked up images, and I can see it from lots of different angles. Unfortunately, no one really knows what the bottom of this ship looks like. I have not seen it modeled in any way, so a lot of it is just guessing. That slopes up at this angle, and then it cuts over at that angle. So I am gonna need another loop cut here. There we go. Okay. Your model is gonna end up drifting from the schematic somewhat, or at least for me it has every time I've gone to make these. But eventually, fairly soon, we're not going to be working with the schematic anymore, and using a lot more of these reference images from all these different angles to get the mesh, to do what we need it to do. Let's call that good. Let's go to the front now. And these two, I can see, are gonna need to come up to there. These two are gonna need, first of all, to come down, but they also need to be aligned flat on the Z-axis. So to do that, we just select them both, making sure nothing else is selected. Scale, or S for scale. Constrain it to the Z-axis, and then 0 on the number pad. That brings them in alignment. And then we'll just make sure. Oh, that's right. Okay. And then enter to select. Let's bring that back down here and bring those there. Now the distance between the two vertices now is going to be the edge, right? See, there's a kind of a razor's edge for the side, but I don't know, what is that, a couple inches of geometry, a couple inches of mesh. Definitely going to need that to be its own little face there. So that's what we just did there. So this is kind of setting the stage, determining the width of the ship's wing as we move along. You know, it'll be a little bit more difficult or harder to change that as we go on, but you're probably not locked in just yet. Let's see, these two, same thing. Scale, constrained to the Z, 0. Now you can start to see we're getting our shape. Let's see, those have to come down to there-ish. Yeah, just about there. Now we're getting somewhere anyway. I wouldn't stop and call it good. I tab out of edit mode into object mode. Sometimes my X-ray will be toggled on. I turn that off. Just every once in a while. I just, just to see how it's looking. Gives me mine just went blank. It gives me a reference to see how far along I'm coming. Let's see. All right. That has to come down. That's going to be the top of the front of our ship. This guy has to come up to meet him. Right. Him or her. Let's see. It's getting closer. So, probably do this too much, but tab back out into object mode, and I can see, yeah, it's starting to take shape. Okay. Oh, that was a poor choice, Daniel, to do that. Okay, why did I even think that was a good idea? Well, 2 to select this edge. Let's just fix this the only way I know how. Subdivide that. 1 to get back into vertice mode. Bring that down, and let's just, yeah, terrible. Okay. All right. Well, here's what we're gonna have to do. Select that face. Delete that face. Is that right? Yeah, select this face, delete this face. Select this face, delete that face. Oh boy. We're really making a mess of it now. Oh, you're fine. I realize I've done something awful. Well, alright, here's what we can do. Delete that face. Delete that face. One, all. This one. Okay. Extrude that up. Alright, select those two. F to join them with an edge. Alright. Select these four. F to join those with an edge. Select these two and those two. There's our edge. I don't know how I even deleted those or did that, but the problem was when I merged the vertices that doesn't happen. But they must have been too close, and when I merged these vertices and I selected merge by distance, these must have been close enough that they merged into one, and that was terrible. But we fixed it. Those and these, all of those need to be at the same distance, the same height, I guess, and need to be brought down to something like that. Alright, 7. Yeah, that seems right. So, back out of here, we can see when we tab out that, or actually let's tab back in, that face is going to be the base for our windshield. This face is going to be the back, and that should be, ooh. Alright, we'll have to just put another edge loop in there. Why is that wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah, so there'll be an edge loop here or so. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, when we look from the back, we need this wing to be shaped, and this, I can infer that these are like tanks on the side. We'll do those separately. This is some sort of, I don't know, air intake system or something like that. That we can do separately. So let's just start by bringing that up and over and bringing these over with that. I could also just GX. Yep, okay. That is looking okay to me from that angle. Tab out of edit mode, Alt Z to toggle, and that is looking, yeah, that's looking right to me. Yeah, I don't want to stress this mesh too much. Just trying to keep this simple. We're gonna have to do this first. So, okay, we need to, well, let's see what this does. Triangulate faces. It does it the wrong way. So I'm just gonna do it the only way I know how. Let's see, select that one, select that one, making sure it's not, we're not screwing up that geometry. And F to join those, and so it wouldn't triangulate the face the way that we wanted, so we just had to do it ourselves. So now let's join that. Tab out. Oh, okay, that's looking a lot prettier than it was before. I think I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I did it again. I didn't think I could. There's hope for everyone, guys. And that's the start of our ship. There's some stuff we have to do with it still, but it's in a good place. Let's see, ship wing. We're gonna duplicate this and move it up along the Z-axis just to anywhere. So I did that by incrementing it with the control and shift perhaps, yeah. Because, let's see, G, Z, control, shift, because I'm going to want to be able to pop it directly back in place if I need to, if something goes horribly wrong with this one. Yeah, which I don't want, but I do expect. So we don't even need to bother renaming that. We will M to put that in a new collection, and we'll just call that trash. I learned that from Dirk on YouTube. Or I learned to call it trash, but all right. Enter to confirm the name. Enter to confirm the creation. And if we want, we can not select it. We can hide it. We can turn it off in renders. But we can also just click that off right there. So now, anytime I drop something into trash, don't need to worry about it anymore. Can't select it. Can't see it in renders. And but it's all there in place when I need it, if I need it. Now we can duplicate this. Oh boy. Duplicate it, Z. And then there. Now we have the base of our windshield. Perfect. Separate by selection. Move that to the trash. Alright, so I'm pressing, once I've duplicated it, I'm pressing P and separating it by selection. That's the only thing I have selected at that point. So now these are two separate objects, and I will call this ship windshield. Yeah, ship windshield. And then GZ, and I can move it directly back into place like so. But let's go orthographic view. 1 to see your vertices, A to select all, and I to inset. Is that what we want to do? That is what we want to do. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So we've inset it. Now we've got the vertices that we need for the top. We've got them connected by some edges, and this is still mirrored with clipping. Okay, good. So I think, yeah, let's just select those for the front 4 of our windshield. Bring that into place. You can see this edge just automatically follows, lines up then perfectly with our front corner. Now that is clipped because we've got clipping on here, so we can't move that now, so that's good. It won't move on its own. Let's just G to move those. All right, now this edge, perfect, lining up with the left corner top, port corner top, whatever you want to call it. It's just lined up perfectly. It works for us. That I made a mistake there. Oh darn it. Okay. So we'll just have to move that. Okay, that's moved. We'll move that, and that does not move in. Yeah, we still need that to line up with our windshield there. Okay. Yeah, so now we've got the front plate, the top plate, the back plate, the side plate. Let's go to 3. No. Let's go back to 7. And Alt and click to select that. Pressing Alt and clicking selects a particular edge loop. Why that's not selecting those is beyond me. That's frustrating. Okay. But we can do it here, which is all that we need it to do. 3, and no, let's just select all. We have to move this down to there or so. These move up to match that. This moves down. Obviously we can't see, but we'll just have to infer right there. And move that down into place. That's wrong. That is not what we want. Here's what we want. Because we did this so elegantly before. Select all. Because we moved it up constrained, we can move it back down constrained. Perfectly into place on top of our other mesh. Now this, we just move up into place. And this one will move up into place. And probably here's an example of where, you know, when we set up our reference images with these schematics, it's not going to match up perfectly. Remember, try to use 1. That's the one we, or excuse me, if you're front angle, that's the one we started with. Looks, I mean, we're within tolerance or margins or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call that fine. That's fine. Tab out of edit mode, turn off X-ray, get back into perspective. Well, doesn't matter, just get off axis. So you don't see your reference images anymore. That's looking fine to me. Time-wise, this is a long way from being finished, but modeling-wise, I mean, this is kind of the bulk of it. Now, I've got this thing in 3D space. I can move all around it. I'm not, you know, slave to my references and images anymore. I can kind of see how this is coming together. It's going to be a lot easier now to model the rest of it, I think. This is at a good place. Sometimes I don't know where to, you know. It's always a question of how do you tackle the next part of the project. You've come this far and there's so much more to do, but like I said, this is a great jumping off point. You can get into any kind of detail level that you want. I mean, you can go as far as you want detail wise, but for my little animation, I mean, I'm only doing it from one angle. I only put details in on that one angle. I spent a little bit of time on the, but I chose that angle first of all, so I knew what I could get away with detailed and what I didn't need to detail. I spent a little time on the texture, but not much, and so yeah, you can go as far down the rabbit hole as you want, but you certainly don't need to. I think you can get it to a point where people believe it, it's passable, and you don't need to spend all too much time, you know, agonizing over it. So we'll just get it to that point and see what happens.